Okay. They're coming in demonizing on purpose so that they can get rid of us. We got to stand in the gap here, and we can't, even if you feel that this is something that you got to crusade for, do it quietly. Because if you're raising your voice, they're going to use you the way they use Charlemagne to tell a narrative. Do you want to be that person?
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Let's go to John in Texas. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Hello.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Good. Good.
How you doing, Rod? How you, Karen? Hey, first of all, Karen, that's why I love you and my Cameron voice. So now,
I don't like Cameron's voice.
my Cameron voice.
To yourself.
I'm a veteran. I live in Texas. I'm a native New Yorker, and I've always treated Chicago like the second city. Part of my bias. But where was the outrage? Where was the outrage when all of these kids was getting shot? These brothers are getting killed every weekend, and now everybody is up in arms and protesting, bullhorn that the National Guard. He wants to send the National Guard in.
Can I ask you a question? Hold on, because
yes,
it feels like you have a made up mind. How many people were killed in Anchorage? How many people were killed in Arkansas? How many? And I'm saying something, because the media is going to report something. Shreveport, Louisiana, which is has 4 times more murder than the whole state of California. Do we hear about the murders of the people in Shreveport every day? Why Chicago? Chicago's not even in the top 10. Why are we hearing about Chicago, John? And I'm asking you this question. I'm not dispelling that I'm not saying people aren't dying and these murders are not outrageous, because all life is valuable to me. But you also have to see the trope in the messaging, because they're demonizing a whole city that is predominantly black, has a black mayor, for a purpose when it's not the most dangerous. So you have to ask yourself, why are you in Texas learning about what's going on in Chicago, but we're not learning about what's going on in these other places that are far more dangerous, where far more murders happen? And by the way, 83% of murders in the white community happen by white people. We never hear about that. I had a friend that was a property manager in Hoboken, and because the property value in Hoboken was so important, they never reported the crime. When things happen, they didn't report the crime, because once it goes in the ledger, then that's data and stats, which also now demonizes your city as being high crime. So they didn't report the crime, and everybody was in on it. So how often is that happening? And I'm saying that messaging, narrative, storytelling is at the crux of how this country got to where it is. So we can't fall for us. We can't. Now, what we do in our community, which is why everybody who lives somewhere got to stand up. We got to have neighborhood watches. We got to be involved. We got to make sure we take care of ourselves, which by and large, you see Otis Moss III out there. He's actually in them streets. You don't live in Chicago, so you don't know that. He's actually
You're right.
out there doing that. So you're calling from Texas talking about something you don't even know. You're reading something.
Karen, can I say something? But I do know this. The young boys, they cannot go against whatever little pistols that they have are like slingshots compared to what they're going to bring in, and do not.
But that should make you even more like outraged, because there's a couple of other things that we need to consider, all of us who are listening. First of all, the drugs that were flooded in our community, if you go back to Nixon and his domestic policy czar, who said his plan was to flood the black community with heroin, to flood the white hippies with the marijuana. Then Reagan said, hold my beer, I'm bringing in crack to fund these wars that we're doing in these places in the name of America, with the American flag on the bombs, right? And on our name, they flooded our community with crack and destroyed several generations. And it's not just the drug dealers and the crackheads and all, which we make fun of, but how did they get there? We ain't got planes nor boats. And the police knew. The police were part of
No,
it. So I'm saying, no, hold on, John, because this is important. The story has to be told a certain kind of way with the truth at the bottom of it, or else we won't get through this because they're going to do it again, rinse and repeat. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming in demonizing on purpose so that they can get rid of us. We got to stand in the gap here, and we can't, even if you feel that this is something that you got to crusade for, do it quietly. Because if you're raising your voice, they're going to use you the way they use Charlemagne to tell a narrative. Do you want to be that person?
I do not. I do not. But it scares me. It scares me, Karen, because of these. Some people don't get it. How about some people don't? Some people do not get it. And I want these young boys. I do not want to bury no young boys. Me and you were probably the same age or a year or two apart. I grew up in the 70s. I grew up around Black Panthers. I grew up around the Nation of Islam. I grew up around everything that my people took me around in New York City. I'm just afraid. I grew up in the 80s in New York City.
And John, there are fewer murders now.
Right.
Fewer children are dying now at the hands of other children than they were when we were growing up. And they don't tell that story either. Murder's
And they
down.
didn't need the National Guard to do that. Like,
Come
it
on.
took community policing. It takes organizations on the ground. When you look around at who's marching for kids and against violence, it's Black people in those communities that's doing that work. The National Guard, he's not sick in the National Guard on Chicago because he cares about Black lives and he's trying to prevent Black people from killing Black people. That's just
I understand,
that,
man. I understand.
yeah,
Yes,
he's doing that
I want
to
say
make
one
a
last
point.
thing. I want to say one last thing, Karen. I want to say one last thing, Karen. Thank you. Thank you for being the person who you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your platform. Thank you. Thank you
You're
again.
welcome. You're welcome. But I
Appreciate
want to
you.
caution everybody, and I appreciate you, John. Like, are you contributing to a narrative that, to use the analogy, are you putting bullets and guns pointed at us?
Right.
And if you feel that strongly about it, where's your organization to get out there and do something about it, right? Like, this is a very, very dangerous time that we're in. And part of the messaging is going to be around this propaganda and these lies. We don't have a media. We don't have a media that is not, the media is compromised. Let me say it very
Yes.
clearly. The media is complicit in compromise. So now you're parroting things that they're telling you that you don't know because you're not even there.
Yep.
You're not even there, which is why I make it my business to talk to the Davon Loves who are in the streets in Baltimore, who may take on a Wes Moore or even Brandon Scott if he has to,
Right.
because he's in them streets. I'm gonna bring on an Erica Ford who's in them streets in New York because she's there with the kids. We unfortunately, and I'm listen, I'm built for this. I got the
Right.
journalism background. We can get it right, and I love that. Clay's a journalist, Larry's a lawyer, she's in them streets doing the work as well. Like, we are committed to making sure you get the truth. We ain't gonna get it right all the time, but we cannot parrot the messaging of this regime that we're under because you're doing the work for them. Let's not be complicit.
There's an intra-community conversation that's already happening about how Black lives are valued by other Black people. You can participate in that conversation. Donald Trump's not part of that. He don't want to be a part of that. He don't care about that. Like, they're not, they started with DC and then threatened Baltimore, places where crime is down. Like, this is not about, it's about where the Black people stay. They're threatening my city, Charlotte, now. Because one person stabbed somebody on a train, and now they're talking about federal intervention in my city. Why? Because my city is majority Black. It's not about
That's right.
what they're telling y'all. And so you cannot be a willful tool for these people, because they use those things to flood the streets and be like, well, look, this is what Black people want. They want Donald Trump will go there right now. They want the National Guard there. They ain't talk to Black person at first.
This is how we got the crime bill, Congressional Black Caucus. They didn't talk about, hey, how did the drugs get here? What it was, Iran Contra. What? No, it was, we're under siege, and we were under siege. But why? Let's deal with the root cause, because it didn't change anything.
And let me listen. Anti-Blackness is so real. We often talk about it in terms of anti-Blackness is like this white people problem. But it's insidious. It infects all of us. All of us listening, me talking, it's in there because you're constantly inundated with it. Like, you're constantly just hit with it. If you walk down the street, you scared of just a group of Black kids. You was a Black kid. You was in a group. You used to walk down the street. Why are you afraid of them now? Like
Right.
that type of fear, that type of like, you can't trust others. You can't trust each other. My favorite, I bring this up sometimes on our show, but one of my favorite episodes of Atlanta is in the last season when they go to the sushi restaurant and that brother gives that speech about why they won't try his sushi because he's a black man. He trained under Japanese stuff. He knows all the stuff. And then right outside, you got people dancing for Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Now it's an illustrative point, and of course it's over the top because it's a comedy show. But the point of like they tell you don't trust these black people from Chicago, they'll do this. Don't trust a black person from Louisiana, they do that. Don't trust a black person from New York. You can only trust yourself. And I think that's how you end up in these situations where it's like, sick the military on them, on our kids, man. That
Right.
whatever the solution is, I know it's not that.
It also speaks to how few of us are walking our neighborhoods.
Right,
Like I I want to know who the kids are. That kid that was ringing my doorbell, I
right.
found out where he lived. I rolled up on his mom. They were having a cookout. I rolled up, introduced myself. I think it's important that you know the people in your neighborhood. You
Right.
know what?
Well,
He didn't ring my doorbell anymore. You
Karen, but
know,
you know what's crazy? This ain't even his neighborhood. That's how strong the anti-blackness is.
right. You mean
Chicago's
you, John, in
everybody.
Texas? Yeah,
Yeah, you in
yeah, right,
Texas worried
right,
about
right.
Chicago. What's about the crime in your city? What that look like? What you doing there? Like, that's not even your city. That's how strong it is, the anti-blackness, because they just know black people be here. We should all be worried. It's the Negro problem, but for 2025.
Come on. And there was somebody that hung up, and I'm glad they did, talking about I got my stats wrong. No, this crime rates are down. Murder
Right,
and crime are down from the 1980s. Please do your homework. Do not call up and give bad information because we have done our homework here.
right.
Okay. And if we can be corrected, we're here for it. But nah, if I said it
But
happened.
One
Okay.
American News said that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Stop watching Fox and stop looking at whatever the hell else is out there because we don't have a media that will even report a hoax like what happened with Howard Stern this week.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will